Yo, yo, yo. Can you guys hear me? I got to see. This is the first time using this software, so bear with me. Let me know in the chat box if you guys can hear me. Okay, cool. How's everybody doing tonight? Can you guys, so I want to figure out how we're going to do this. Perfect. All right, cool. We're going to wait a couple seconds for everybody to get on. Type in the chat box what time it is where you are and in the city and state. I know it's late for people on the East Coast. I'm gonna pull up my slides because I have some slides definitely that I want to go over tonight. A lot of you guys have been submitting questions, and I want to make sure that we go through and answer it. And then 9 p.m. Cecil, what's going on? LA, 6 p.m. Okay, we're on the same time. So yeah, I want to go over everything. Hold on, we're in the office. These lights about to go off. Hold on 1 second. I've been sitting at my desk for too long. It's on motion sensors and everybody's gone for the day. So I might be getting up and making sure the sensor is good. We got to get that fixed too. We're still under construction a little bit with this. But yeah, for all the partners, Vegas, I need to get back out there. For all the partners that are on, we're going to definitely go over all of our everything specific for the partnership program tomorrow. I got a lot of updates and a detailed breakdown of everything that I think you guys are going to really, really like. So that will be on our call for tomorrow. Today, I want to talk about kind of what's going to go into the mentorship program, more so of kind of like everything that has to do with the Teeshirt business and building your own brand. So this is going to be good for a lot of you guys that are working and building your own brand and starting, not so much of like necessarily picking up clients and stuff like that, but more so of the tactical stuff of what you can do to grow your actual personal brand and how to strategically build that. So I've been looking at a lot of you guys' questions and stuff like that. So I have a list here of pretty much all the questions that we got from the submission. There's a couple other ones that I think that were like very similar. So I just kept, I didn't add all of them on there, but we're going to cover it all. Plus in the chat box, you guys can type in other questions and then we can open up this dialogue. And depending on how many people, we're going to break down these sessions. Again, this is the first one that we're kicking it off. But depending on how many people it is, we'll probably pull in maybe people to be able to talk and have conversations and kind of go through different situations that you're going through and specific to your business needs on how to grow it out, because I think it's going to be very important for us to kind of see that, right? And kind of give you feedback in real time and how you build all that stuff up. Cause that's how I learn, right? It's like, you see it and then it's all about action and the application of everything. 2020 is like, it's here pretty much because we got Christmas in 2 weeks or whatever it is. So I'm just really excited to have you guys, a part of this program. And I want to make sure that we add as much value to it as possible and make sure it's something that is going to be beneficial for you guys and be able to build that out. So with that being said, I'm going to just go ahead and share my slides somehow. Let me see. Let me try this. I don't know if it'll show my Oh yeah, it should. Share. Okay, let me know. Can you guys see? And where's the chat box too? Let me know if you guys can see my slides. Here we go. One more chat box. Here we go. Yes, you can. Okay, cool. All right. So again, I just kind of want to break things down in a sense of Hold on, let me move this over here. Kind of go over some questions and make sure, again, this is super valuable, and I want to make sure that we answer, questions in real time, and then open up, for Q&A. And like I said, as we start going through these coaching calls, this is like the first one to kind of set the tone of what we have. But the goal is to have one of these a week so we can have different stories, different brands, kind of be able to help position that and trying to just make sure that this is, as beneficial as possible. So again, just want to welcome you guys to the program. I'm super excited about the new platform. And I kind of want to get you guys' feedback too of kind of playing around with the app, with the Kajabi app, the user interface, the feed. I want to see if that's like kind of helpful. I really like the idea of building community on top of our platform and what we have versus like Facebook. Cause I know just for me, sometimes when I get on Facebook, I'll get sidetracked, right? I go and do something or type something up, and then all these damn videos and pictures start popping up and you start getting all like sidetracked and stuff like that. So I think with this platform, it definitely costs a lot more to host it and everything, but I think your guys' experience, the user experience and everything like that is going to be way more beneficial. So depending on what programs you are in, if you're in the mentorship program, you have access to all of the online course. For those of you that are in the partnership program, you have access to all the online course and all that stuff, plus the partnership training. And we're adding a bunch of new stuff for the training based on some feedback that we've been getting in real kind of results that we've been doing with some of the partners with orders and stuff like that. So super excited to have you guys. I know a lot of you guys, even in the partnership program, are building your own brands and stuff too. So I think this is going to be super helpful because I want to make sure that it's not only, again, picking up clients and stuff like that, but then how to build and establish your own brand. We're working on collaborations too and some partnerships with different companies. So like different vendors. So we're going to be partnering with Bella Canvas. So what we're working on and trying to do is, by having you guys, we're working on and establishing these relationships with these different vendors that we have. So with you guys being a part of the program, we can get discounts and offers and certain things of new products and new programs that they have, and new T-shirts, and get discounts and stuff like that to be able to pass it on to you guys. So you guys can be successful in building out your brand and stuff like that. So I think that's going to be super helpful as the resources. So I'm pulling for you guys for sure. Just, I want to make sure that, this is something that's going to be something beneficial for you, not just, courses, resources and stuff like that, but then also discounts and actually like real life situations, new programs, new, companies that we work with that have different products and stuff like that. So just want to take the time and, and say that and kind of preface what we have going on. So that's kind of what you can expect. I broke it all down. Another thing that you can expect, so not just resources and stuff, right? So getting some of these companies and bringing them in kind of like your guys' world is going to be very helpful. Some of these like nonprofit organizations, some of you guys are all across the country. So a lot of companies and organizations. So with you guys being and us establishing this network, there could be opportunities later on to do different collaboration projects, whether that's community work or events or collaborations with different organizations. So I'm really, really excited about that. I think it's going to be something that is going to be able to just be a really dope, a program and stuff like that we can do. So that's going to be one thing. Another thing that we want to do is start doing some in-person events. So some sort of like meetups and stuff like that. We have people, partners, mentees from all across the country. So we're trying to figure out in 2020, that's going to be something that we really want to roll out is getting people together, in-person events. So for instance, we're in talks with Bella Canvas right now to do some sort of event in LA where we bring everybody together. We get like a cool panelist of some different, leaders in this space. So different people that run clothing brands or different, agencies, stuff like that can be very helpful. And then it'll be open to, our mentees and our partners and stuff like that. So that's kind of some stuff you can expect. Also the exclusive content, right? There's a lot of stuff that we've posted or a lot of stuff that we recorded that we haven't posted publicly or some of the stuff that we have posted, publicly, but like back in the day. So we have like old content of what we've been able to do certain things. So one campaign in particular that we're going to start rolling out to the network is the United campaign. So we did this whole campaign for doing everything different where we did just kind of like a awareness campaign. So Cecil, I know that you were talking about partnering with organizations. Hold on one second. How do I do this? Move this over here so I can freaking see. All right, here we go. So Cecil, I know that you were talking about partnering with different organizations and stuff like that, and how to kind of be able to build out. That's going to be something too, of just like, you know, it's 2019, it's about to be 2020. There's a lot of, everybody can start a clothing brand, right? Everybody can start a brand where they could put a design or a logo on a t-shirt. But what you guys got to start thinking about is, how are you going to separate yourself? How are you going to work and strategically like partner with different organizations? So Cecil, I like what you're doing with partnering with the organization in Houston to be able to help build out. And I don't know if Essence Foam is like, is partnered in that or whatever, but this is a good way to meet different people to be able to establish those relationships. So having a brand, you know, in 2020 is going to be, you're going to have to do something different, right? You can't just be the, you know, the traditional brand where you just sell clothes, right? You have to think about other ways to do it. And it doesn't have to be necessarily to partner with nonprofit organizations or things like that, but just trying to illustrate what we've been able to do to be able to grow and to be able to establish our business, right? And to be able to do the projects that we want. So partnering with different organizations is a good idea. So I was saying that to say that we put this campaign together called Let's Be United. It was when the last election cycle was happening, and it was just, the country was divided, similar to like what it is now. And we wanted to put something together that just kind of like brought people together, right? And we did it under our brand, doing everything different. And we recorded the entire process, right? From day one of just an idea and a concept all the way until when we launched. And I think it took about 70 something days, like 75, 80 days until we launched. And we documented the different processes and the different milestones. And they're quick videos, but what we're going to do is we're going to start posting it so you guys can see this campaign and how we rolled it out and behind the scenes. So it was at our old office where we had our studio and stuff set up over there. It was in Union City. We've now moved everything to Oakland. But you'll see kind of like the team and how we came up with the concept and how we put a campaign together. So I'm going to share these videos with you guys. And then at the end, I'm going to talk about what went right and what we did right, and then what we did wrong, right? And what we could have improved and what we could have done better at. Because I think that you learn everything, every single launch that we do, every single campaign, every single client thing that we do, every single design, every single t-shirt, every single production run, you learn something from it, right? You learn. If you're getting better and if you're on your game, you're learning and you're constantly trying to get better. And so I want to start posting these videos. So I'm going to post these videos in the Mentee network or the community network. I'm not sure. I may set up its own like project for it because it's a lot of videos and it may be better to organize that way, but I'm going to figure it out. But long story short is you're going to get these videos so you'll be able to see behind the scenes, and it's going to be similar stuff to this, right? So we're going to do a Build Your Brand part 2, which I'm hella excited about, right? So the Build Your Brand part 2 is going to be, I don't know if you guys seen Abstract on Netflix, but we really liked how they story tell on Abstract, right? And how they show the creative process, and they show behind the scenes, and they show the entire process from start to finish. So what we're going to do for the Build Your Brand part 2 is we're going to show literally the entire process. So we're going to sit down with the creative team and we're going to go over the concept of whatever we're doing for the collection, right? We're going to come up with a concept and we're going to take it through the entire process, step by step, very detailed, very shot, like super dope. We got Vang, who's helping with our head of content, who's going to be recording and editing it all. We didn't have that for the Build Your Brand part 1. It was just kind of like, you know, it was me and my brother just kind of filming it and editing it. We didn't have an actual role for head of content. So Vang is going to be doing that. And we're going to show the whole process from concept to design to production to sourcing the garments. We're going to be partnering with Bella Canvas. So we'll go down to LA to their manufacturer and we'll look at how do we select garments? How do we pick out certain collections? We're going to show the production of it. Then we're going to show planning the photo shoots and all the creative and doing all the commercials and all the rollouts from that. Then we're going to show doing all of the marketing materials, so like our lookbooks and everything like that, and all of our designs for the social media. Then we're going to show how we put together campaigns like ads to be able to push it out. Because a lot of you guys, a lot of the common questions that we got is like, how do I establish this brand? And what we're going to do is we're going to do it in a small, like a small way, in the sense of like, we're not going to do hundreds of thousands of pieces or tens of thousands of pieces. We're going to do small orders so we can show you guys, because a lot of you guys are in the process where you guys are like beginning to mid-tier where you're trying to grow. So we're going to show you guys how it works. We're going to show the calculations of how much all this stuff costs. So we'll show you the budget of like, okay, something like this costs this. This is the resource that we got it there. It's just going to be very, very detailed. So we're going to show you from that to doing the photo shoots, to rolling out the campaign, to even the distribution. So we're going to set up a small distribution, fulfillment in our facility. And we're going to show you how you can do this in your garage or in your room or whatever, and how to ship it out. Some of the stuff doesn't make sense for a lot of you guys that are starting the brands. Print on demand makes a lot of sense for a lot of you guys, where you don't have to ship the shirts out and stuff like that. But if you want more a custom feel, if you want more control over it, if you have more time, to be able to ship it out, if you have the space, this is a great way to show you the entire process. So as your brand starts picking up from the print on demand stuff, and you guys start to do actual collections with physical products, we're going to show you the entire process step by step. And then we're going to do accessories too. So we're not just going to do like t-shirts and hoodies. We're going to have like other different branded items and stuff like that. So super excited about that. I think that's going to be super dope. We're going to show you the results. We're going to show you how we put the ads together, the metrics, all the stuff, the client profiles, the whole, like literally from start to finish. And then you guys are going to see the finished product. So that's what you can expect as far as the behind the scenes content of what we're going to be doing. We're going to be rolling this stuff out. We're also going to be showing the stuff that we're doing for like our agency. So this was something that we just did for Bad Bunny. He's this dope artist and just this massive artist, right? 20 million followers or whatever. So he performed at Chase Center. So Chase Center is one of our clients. So when all the different artists come into town and perform at Chase, we partner with Chase to do gifts for every single artist. So we've done stuff for Elton John, Janet Jackson, the Jonas Brothers, Bad Bunny, Logic, a bunch of people. We have Oprah coming up. We have Trevor Noah coming up this Saturday, actually. So we're wrapping up his gift right now. We have Ariana Grande coming up. We have like a lot of different artists. So what we're going to do is we're going to show the behind the scenes of how these custom projects are made and how we've built this partnership with, the Chase Center, and how we've been able to do it, and show you step by step of how we've been able to build a relationship, how that a lot of these things aren't necessarily profitable. Actually, we don't make no money on these artist gifts. That's the thing, right? A lot of people are looking for the money, right? They're like, oh no, we need to make money. But you don't understand the relationship and the long-term thinking is what's going to pay out in the beginning, right? So we spend all of the budget. They have a budget for the artist gifts. We make sure that we spend all that budget on the actual product, right? On designing the product, on getting the product made. We're not worried about making money off of this. This is not a money-making situation, but the relationships, the people that we're meeting, the stuff. Think about it. We do one thing that one of the person likes for the tour. Now that kicks off a whole partnership, doing their whole tour merch and designing their whole stuff. So thinking about investing, right? I want you guys to understand that, like, think long term, right? It's not about that short term money, and it's hard because I get it. We all got bills that we have to pay and we have to do stuff, but we have to be strategic about how we go about it. So just breaking down the psychology of what we've been able to do, and the tactical advice of like, okay, this is step by step how we did it. These are the resources. This is what you can do, in your small niche. Maybe it's not, this has been, let me just preface this, right? We started doing artist gifts in 2006, and it was for local artists, right? It was for small artists. So in 2006, we started. Right. And we were just doing this stuff. So we've been doing this consistently. We started in 2005, but we started doing the artist gifts, or we thought were the artist gifts. I mean, if you guys are here, you probably seen my Rick Ross story, right? Where we did that custom shirt for Rick Ross and he hated it and it looked horrible and all that stuff. So that's literally where we started, right? We started with that ugly shirt. So it's crazy coming full circle to now working with these, these real artists, right? And doing full collaboration projects. So I just, my whole thing is like a lot of people don't talk about what they do. And I'm going to be transparent. Like I'm going to talk to you guys about the relationships, how you don't make money on these projects, right? A lot of people be like, oh yeah, we're making money. We're getting paid off. No, we don't make money off of these, right? They pay it. We invest in it. We make money elsewhere. We don't have to worry about making money from these artist gifts, but thinking long-term and building relationships. That's everything, right? So this is some of the stuff. Again, this is some of the content that you guys are going to get. As being in the program, you guys will have access to all of this stuff firsthand. Some of the stuff we're not going to post publicly. It'll just stay in our network and in our community and stuff like that. And then some of the stuff we will post publicly, but you guys will get it. You guys will get it first. So this is some of the stuff that you can expect. Just kind of wanted to do an overview of the program, what you guys can like look forward to, what we're investing in as far as like, you know, having a content director. We're getting ready to bring on a program director that's going to be able to help with like organizing all of this stuff and making sure the community is, you know, is situated. You guys are getting the best experience that you can, making sure content is uploaded, making sure that, you know, there's no issues. We had some issues moving over some of the videos from Teachable, our old platform, to the new platform. And one of you guys, one of the mentees, was commenting on it. Hey, this didn't work. So just having somebody to come in there and QC to make sure everything is like running smooth. So we're reinvesting into this, right? We're making sure that this is the best experience that we can give you guys. So that's some of the stuff that you guys can expect. And then we're going to jump into some of the questions. So again, these are some of the questions that you guys submitted. Some of them were like repeat and kind of the same questions. So I just kind of, you know, lumped it up and whoever asked it first. But as we start to go, what we're going to start doing is developing different things like this, right? Different content that we can post that you guys can watch and you guys can see. But then also stuff where you guys can, you know, have a resource to where if you have a quick question, you can search on the community and type in any type of keyword of what you're looking for, and all the resources and the videos and all that stuff will pop up. So there's a lot of stuff that we're working on in the future of giving you guys and getting you guys the resources and stuff that you need. So the first question is, what are some of the most effective and timely practices to expand your business? So I think I get this asked a lot, right? About like, what are some of the most effective ways, right? How can we like get it out quick? How can we grow? And I think that there's a couple things that you can do. I mean, there's a lot of things that you can do, but I think the biggest thing about being able to grow your business, and of course it depends on the type of business that you have. Tiana has a company called Me Plus God Clothing, right? So she has a very niche market, right? It's all into church, right? And so with her business, she has a very clear niche of like who she's selling to, right? So some of you guys, I don't know, I've been looking at some of the new mentee intake forms, and I've been reading your businesses, and it's super dope to see all that stuff. So just thinking about, some of you guys have niches, right? Some of you guys have like, whether it's fitness, whether it's, you know, a Christian clothing line, whether it's, you know, a meditation clothing company that's about wellness, whether it's, you know, you have niches. And I think that it's very important to find your niche, right? If you find your niche and you understand who your audience is and who you're talking to, it's going to make it a lot easier. Excuse me for bumping the mic. I know it's probably loud. It's going to make it a lot easier to narrow down what you need to do to expand, right? What you need to do to expand and how you need to get your business out there. So for instance, having a Christian-based clothing company, you know, finding conferences, finding events, going to different churches, partnering with different church organizations. There's a lot of things that you can do depending on what your niche is, right? I think the biggest thing right now that I see that just as far as on in a sense of social media platforms, right? Instagram, we all know, you know, the organic reach is dying, right? It's pretty much, it's dead. Like you post something, not all your followers see the stuff. So that's getting harder and harder and harder and harder to kind of break through and for you to break through all the noise, because there's a lot of noise. There's two platforms right now that I've seen that I've been on that are incredible, that get a lot of traction and stuff like that. That's TikTok and that's LinkedIn. My account director came on 2 years ago, coming up in January or something like that. But when he came on 2 years ago, he was telling me, hey, you need to really focus on LinkedIn. Like, this is big. And I was like, oh, no, LinkedIn is just, something that you just, post, your job stuff and interviews. And he was like, no, I'm telling you, really need to like really check into it. They're like posting a lot of content, and it's like it's changing from what you originally thought it was. And so I remember you post something on LinkedIn and it gets so much exposure, right? It gets so much exposure. Pretty much all your followers see it. And then if one of your followers likes it, then a lot of their followers see it. So I think being able to provide content, to be able to do content on LinkedIn, it's more of a professional, of course, environment and stuff like that, but more and more people are spending time on it. So again, with you thinking about building your clothing brand, you got to think about building more than just a brand. You should have your brand support whatever your mission and whatever your philosophy on life is, and whatever that is. You should look at like how you can build another business around it, right? Think about how you have that merch to support that idea, right? Your brand is an idea, and then you have merchandise to support that idea. So the whole thing now is it's good because with social media, you can talk about that idea and you can find people that believe in that idea just like you. So then if you find the people that believe in that idea and you're able to communicate that idea, and now you have clothing that represent that idea. So now when you wear this, it's a part of this idea. It's an extension of that. That's how you connect with your audience. That's how you're able to grow. So there's a lot of tactical ways of what you can do to be able to grow this up, but you got to start thinking about, what does my brand mean, right? And to build your brand, it always talks about, connecting, what does your brand mean, right? Start with why, right? All the great companies start with why. So you got to start thinking about like, okay, what does my brand mean? And what does it do for me? Right. And then how do you communicate that and find a tribe of people that believe in that same idea? And you do this by social media, right? Social media, the people are there, right? So whether that is Facebook, whether that is LinkedIn, whether that is TikTok, whether that is Instagram, whatever, Snapchat, whatever it is, having these social media platforms to be able to do that. Facebook, Instagram, of course, still works. It's just a matter of like, you're going to have to like break through, and you got to really focus on that idea. That idea is what's going to push people. People don't care about the product necessarily. They care about the idea. So if you could get them bought in on the idea, the product's going to be easy because that's a reflection of that. It's the extension of that. So thinking about different things, thinking about podcasts, right? Being able to interview different people that believe in that idea, and you have that supporting merchandise to support that idea and that whole concept. Doing different Instagram lives. So we've seen what has been really successful, and just kind of watching from afar of like how I watch certain people do lives and they interview people. And then when they interview people, it notifies you or all of their followers that they went live. So then it's a great way to kind of tap into other people's audiences and stuff like that. So there's a ton of things. These are just a few things that I'm kind of listing off. And as we start going, I'm going to do more videos specifically targeted based on industry, based on, different criteria and stuff like that. But just start thinking about what your idea is, and where are the people that believe in that same idea, where do they out, and how can you open up a conversation to them? It's not about spamming them. It's not about posting, buy my shirt. Nobody wants to see that, right? You got to add value. People, there's so much noise out there that you're either going to have to entertain people or you're going to have to educate people, right? It's either entertaining them or educating them. Those are the only two things that's going to really stand out, above the noise. Like, people are going to pass by your ad with just having the shirt, or if all you're posting is your shirt, like people get tired of that. Like, how much of your shirt can people take? And I don't care if it's other shirts and other products and stuff like that. People are going to get bored with that. That's not stimulating. That's just whatever. But the idea, the content, that is what is going to get people engaged. If you're inspiring them, you're educating them, or you're entertaining them, right? Inspiring, educating, or entertaining. Those are the things. Those are the pillars that you do. So find the people, like, think about what it is that they think about, where they hang out, and then how can you inspire them, educate them, or entertain them? And if you could do all three, then, you won. You got the golden formula. So thinking about that, thinking about how do you create content? How do you build long-term? How do you build relationships with people? Then we'll start getting into like the social media marketing course. So I was going to upload the social media marketing course that we did. I did it like a year and a half ago, but it's outdated. So I didn't really want to upload it. I want to re-record it, and I want to make sure I give you guys the most current information and stuff that we've learned since then. We've learned a lot of stuff that wasn't added into that, and a lot of stuff, again, constantly growing, right? Constantly learning. So it's going to constantly evolve and stuff like that. So we're redoing the social media bootcamp that will be recorded and uploaded for you guys to be able to go through this month. But it's going to have like a lot of stuff in it. And I promise you, it'll be some stuff that's going to be some heat. So that's some of the effective ways, right? It takes time, right? Nothing's going to happen overnight. Like, don't look at it as like a quick, fast thing. This is if you want to be around for a long time, if you want to have that consistency, if you want to be able to, we've been doing this from 2005 to now going into 2020, right? And it's been a consistent, like, up and down and up and down and up and down, but a progress up, right? It's been a heel up. It hasn't been just a straight shot up. It's been a progress to be able to go, success. Everybody thinks it's like this, right? Everybody thinks it's like this. And sometimes that happens, right? Sometimes, there's miracles and that stuff happens, but a lot of times in entrepreneurship, it's ups and downs. It's ups and downs. You go through peaks and valleys. And so it's just a matter of just being able to think of it long-term. Because when you think of it long-term, you're able to do long-term and make long-term decisions versus like focusing on short-term, dollars or for short-term gratification, right? So thinking about building long-term, it's about, it's a marathon, right? That's why I like Nipsey Hussle's clothing line, like a marathon. Like, marathon continues, right? Like it's never ending. Like, it keeps going, right? And so that's the thing that you want to start thinking about. Think about different ways that you can build with people. You can share the idea. You will find people that share that idea. You have the merchandise to support that, and you find the platforms that they hang out on. Okay, so Jonathan asked, what is the most effective social media platform to be investing ad spend currently? So I don't know how many of you guys are, and I don't see Jonathan on this, but he may be watching the recording after. But I don't know how many of you guys, actually in the chat box, how many of you guys have ran ads before and spent money, whether that's on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn? Just type in or raise your hand. I don't know, you can do that. That's pretty cool. Omar, I don't know how you raised your hand. Oh, that's kind of dope. All the time. Jeffrey, hand raised. Okay, cool. So, all right, this is going to be interesting. Okay, so Facebook. So Ray, you did it on Facebook. What platforms? Type in the chat. I see that you guys raised your hand, but if you can, I don't know if you guys can. I don't know if you guys are calling in or if you're on the computer, but type in the chat. Okay, Facebook. Now, does that include Instagram or is that just Facebook? Okay, Instagram, just Facebook, okay. Both Instagram and Facebook. I've only done Facebook. Okay, so this is good. So, I mean, depending on, I would have to take a look at like, the product and what you guys have and stuff, but I'm assuming you guys have a brand. It goes like this in the most expensive order of where it goes. I'm going to break down the ad platforms. I'm going to break down how it works. I love this type of stuff. So LinkedIn is going to be your most expensive platform, right? But that's to B2B, right? So B2B is just business to business, right? You want to get business with another company, right? So LinkedIn is really, really good for that because you can find a person's title and you can target per title, per company, per whatever. So you're looking at probably like anywhere between, when we run ads, $50 to like $125 per lead, right? Meaning per email address, per whatever. But the thing is, that's a high quality lead, right? Because it's business to business, it's for our agency. So that may not apply to a lot of you guys because you guys want a brand, but that's the most expensive platform, but very, very effective if you could use it correctly. The next most expensive is Facebook, right? Everybody is running Facebook ads. So meaning that this is a marketplace, right? The more money and the more people that are bidding on that same person's attention or that same person's feed, the more it's going to cost to get in front of them, right? Because, there's only one feed, right? So everybody is fighting for that feed. That's why organic reach is going down and all that stuff. So Facebook. So a lot of times when people run ads, they'll just run them on Facebook. And then a lot of times when you run ads, you just do automatic placement. meaning that you let Facebook, because it says recommended on it, right? So when you click automatic placement, it runs in Messenger, it runs in the audience network, it runs on the side little left column panel, it runs in places that nobody freaking sees. And so now if it's running in all these 10, 15 different places, 5 different places on Facebook, it's costing you a lot of money to get in front of people, right? It's costing you a lot of money to get in front of people. So Facebook is the second one. It's effective, right? But it's just going to cost you a lot more, right? It's just going to cost you a lot more compared to Instagram that we're getting ready to get into in a second. So Facebook is good. It's going to cost more to get in front of people, right? Then the second cheapest is Instagram feed, right? So when you're setting up your ads, and again, this is going to be in the social media bootcamp course. So we're going to break it down how to set this up and how to structure your ads, which is all in, this is included in everything that you're doing. Instagram feed is it's really good, right? It's really good. It's cheaper than Facebook, but it's getting higher because all these companies, all these big brands are understanding how freaking well this is working. So they're dumping all their marketing dollars or more of their marketing dollars into Instagram. And the more that they bring these hundreds of millions of dollars and billions of dollars into this platform, it's going to bid us out to where we're not going to be able to, us as small businesses, we're not going to be able to get in front of 1,000 people for $100 anymore. You know what I mean? Or for $50 or for $20. You know what I mean? So we have to be very strategic about how we do it. So Instagram works, the feed works, you see ads all the time. But what you'll start to notice in people's behaviors of how they're operating on Instagram is people don't post on their feed really anymore, right? I mean, they do, but not like before they rolled out stories. So now that they have stories, everybody is posting in stories and pretty much spending a lot of their time, majority of their time in stories. Let me ask you guys a question. When you guys are on the Instagram, do you guys spend more time on the feed or more time in the stories? I'll give you guys a second answer, but I'll feed. Okay. All right. So stories, feed, both. So it's a mixture of everything, right? Now, how many of you guys, when you guys do you guys post in stories or do you guys post on your feed? I'm curious to see about that. Do you guys post more on your story or more on your feed? The stories are like a rabbit hole. I know you'll start getting all in. It's crazy. Stories as of late, feed, but starting to transition to stories, more feed, but some stories. You just keep watching. It's true. It's like it gets you into this whole rabbit hole and stuff, right? So a lot of people are consuming stuff on their feed, and stories as well, right? Stories views are going up. So a lot of people are wanting to run Instagram ads. So they're just doing it on the feed, right? Because that's, okay, cool. I want to go into Instagram and stuff like that. And a lot of people are neglecting stories. So the cheapest thing that you can get right now is Instagram stories, right? Instagram story ads is the cheapest thing that you can get right now because everybody is focused on Facebook and then they're focused on Instagram feed and then they're focused on stories. So you can get in front of, depending on how you do your placements, I'm not going to give you guys numbers because it depends on your ad. It depends on how good it is, the quality you're targeting. It depends on a bunch of different factors, but you can get in front of a lot more people on the Instagram stories than you can on their feed. And it's going to be a lot less expensive to be able to do that. So I would say right now, if you guys are spending money, right, if you guys aren't running ads yet and you guys are just beginning, I wouldn't run ads if you don't have the foundation down. So let me tell you guys this. So I had a client that we were working with that we were coaching and helping him transition his platforms and get everything situated and helping him build, the marketing side of things, right? The marketing side of things, but the infrastructure wasn't completely there, right? It was a little premature of his infrastructure and stuff like that. So we helped him adjust his ads. We helped him, and you guys may have seen it in the webinar or whatever, but we helped him adjust his ads and do all this stuff. And last year at this time, he did over, I think it was $103,000 in 1 month. And the biggest month that he had done, I think was like 20,000 or 15,000 up to then or something like that, around there. It was a lot higher than what he usually did. But he switched his systems around and he wanted to print everything in-house. And he ended up bombing, right? Couldn't ship out a bunch of stuff, got a bunch of negative, it was bad. It was very, very bad because he didn't have the infrastructure. So what I'm saying is, like, if you guys are just starting, don't worry about ads right now. Like, you don't want to get there. You want to get your infrastructure together first before you start dumping money into ads, because first impressions are everything, right? And you're just going to kind of waste money on doing all this stuff. But if you guys are running ads right now, if you guys are currently running ads, if you guys have a marketing budget, if you guys have an ad spend, whether it's $20 a month or $10,000 a month, I would highly recommend figuring out how to run ads so when you go to set up your ads, there's, where you want to place the ads, right? In Facebook, or it'll say automatic, which is recommended, or it'll say manual. Click on manual. Never do automatic, right? That's just like boosting a post. Like, if you just boost a post, Facebook's just going to send it, or Instagram's just going to send it to whoever. You want to get targeted on who you send it to, right? You want to make sure that who you're sending it to, remember, going back to, this is perfect correlation. So going back to finding that tribe that fits that same idea, right? That person that the person that believes in that idea, that matches your brand and all that stuff. You understand and create a client profile of who these people are, right? So you understand what they're interested in, what pages they follow, what are their goals, what are their values, what are all this stuff. So now you can create ads to be able to target them, and then you can use Facebook's extensive targeting tools to be able to do that. And then you click manual, right? So there's automatic, which is recommended, or manual. And then you uncheck all the Facebook crap, all of the stuff. And then you only select Instagram stories. So if you only select Instagram stories, all that money, all your budget will go into Instagram stories. So what I do, right, and we've been testing it out with different campaigns and different stuff like that, is we'll run 3 ads, one on Facebook, one on Instagram feed, and one on stories, and we'll see how they perform. So Facebook is costing like $8 per lead, right? Instagram is charging about, like, Instagram feed is charging about, Facebook is anywhere between like $8 to $9, right? Instagram feed is around like $4 to $6, but Instagram stories is like $1.22 to like $2.26 is the most important. So the other ones are working, right? All the platforms work. It just costs more money for that result. So now we're saying, okay, we're paying $9 for Facebook and $4, $6 for Instagram feed. How many people can we get in the stories with that same budget, right? So then what we would do is we'll cut off Facebook, the Facebook ads, and then we'll cut off the Instagram ads, and we'll put the whole budget into whatever is performing the best. Because of course, the better it performs, the more reach that you're going to have. So then it performs well. So it's an action-based campaign. So like, it's a swipe up, right? So you'll see it, oh, buy this or do this, and swipe up. The benefits though for Instagram feed is you'll get more followers. So if you're doing something on the feed, people are more inclined to click your profile picture and follow you if you do targeting right and you're interested, versus stories. Stories people don't really follow you, but they'll take action for cheaper on what is it? Damn. Actions on what it is that you're trying to accomplish. So there's pros and cons, right? So Instagram feed is good for branding, awareness, stuff like that, to get people to follow you. Instagram stories is good for creating actions, a swipe up actions of whatever it is that you want to do. So again, if you're running ads, I would highly recommend doing that. I would uncheck automatic, check manual. I would try doing one in just the Instagram feed, because it's going to be a lot cheaper, especially for those of you that were running ads on just Facebook. You're going to see a way higher or way more results when it comes to running on an Instagram feed. And then the next thing is for those of you guys that are running ads, the Facebook pixel. I don't know if you guys have the Facebook pixel installed in your site or wherever you're sending people on the ads, but that is a must. You have to have your Facebook pixel installed in your on your store, whether that's Shopify or whatever, because when the lead or Instagram, whatever, to that external website, there's no way of communicating if you don't have that pixel set up on your site. So the pixel is what basically when Facebook, Instagram sends them to your site, that Facebook pixel sees what they do on your site. So now when you're looking at the reports, you can see, okay, this person, X amount of people registered, this many people viewed a product, this many people added to cart, this many people got to checkout, and then this many people purchased. So now you get all of this data that you can work with. So now you can then do subsets of those ads. So now you can say, okay, this person or these people, added to cart. So now what we want to do is take all of the people that added it to cart, and now we want to send them a different ad, right? Maybe it's a 10% off, maybe it's something else, because we know they added to cart, they were interested, but they didn't purchase. So now you want to run a different ad. So there's a lot of different ways and tricks that you can do and how you can build all this stuff out. And what I want to try to do too is, you know, I'm not like I wouldn't consider myself an expert. I'm not an expert in running Facebook and Instagram ads. I mean, we've ran several ads that have been really, really good and converted really well. But I don't just sit in there and like nerd it out. I don't have enough time. So what I want to do is I want to have like different people. Like I know a couple of people that actually like run ads like for a living that do that. So I want to get on them and have them like interview them and talk about their like different ways to be able to optimize your ads and do stuff like that. But as far as the stuff that we're doing right now that's actually working and converting, that's what I would recommend for those of you that are running ads. And for those of you that aren't, you know, just be patient, you know, set up your infrastructure first, build your business, the foundation of your business first, and then focus on the ads and stuff like that, because you don't want to, you know, your foundation is going to be so important, because you can't build a big building on a weak foundation, because it's just going to collapse. You know what I mean? So that foundation that you build is super important to set that up in the beginning. So that's what I would say about ads. Instagram stories. And we haven't played around with Facebook stories either. So, you know, Facebook has its own stories and ad features too, but we haven't played around with that. So that's going to be good. How do we find a high quality local contract screen printing willing to work with startup brand with frequent, very small orders? Essentially, we're looking for a print on demand model for screen printing. We have gone with DTG Printful route, and their services and quality has not met up to our standards for our customers. You know, Jeremy, it's kind of tough. That is the challenge with a lot of new brands, right? There's a lot of pros and cons with print on demand and with screen printing. Pros for print on demand being, of course, you have small minimums and you can do it on demand. But again, like you said, the quality and the type of product that you can get is not as good as if you go the screen printing route. So, I mean, the best thing that you can do is, I mean, number one, Google. I don't know, where are you located? And I guess we'll make this relevant for everybody depending on wherever they're located. So Vegas, right? I don't know, but I think there are actually some pretty big contract screen printing shops in Vegas. I don't know the names of them. I don't know where they are, but I've heard that there are some shops out there. But the thing is, with the big shops, they're going to treat you, you know, they're going to treat you like crap, and they're not going to, you know, they're on to bigger orders, right? And that is where, you know, their money is made on bigger orders. But I mean, I would do a quick Google search of contract screen printing shops. Another thing that I would do is you don't necessarily have to go with somebody local. You know, there's some places that you can get that are, you know, there's different places that you could do smaller orders. We don't specialize in small orders. That isn't what we do in-house. We do more so of like the larger orders because there's a lot of complications with the stuff. But there are different places. Big shop turned you around. I mean, that's going to be the challenge that you get, right, with your brand, right? It's just a matter of balance, right? There's no secret answer or secret answer or secret sauce when it comes to finding that. You just have to find that like medium of like how we set that up. So for instance, so Pink Dolphin, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Pink Dolphin, but we printed for them a lot in the beginning when they were just starting. And what they would do is they had a budget to do like larger orders, but they focused mainly on a lot of their designs were one color prints, right? So they were simple one color prints. They were in different colors. So they were able to get a lot of them because it was only one color. So it's easy to set it up, because for you to have like a bunch of designs that have a bunch of colors. I don't know if that's the case for you guys, but for having a lot of locations, it's going to be very challenging, right? You got to kind of simplify those designs, or if not, you're going to be paying a lot of money per unit, and it's not going to be profitable when it comes to actually being able to do it. So I would say taking a look at and auditing your designs and how you set that up, how many designs you do. Maybe you do, instead of trying to do 5 different designs per collection, maybe you only do 1 or 2 designs, right? Because you don't have the budget right now to be able to do it. So you can increase your volume to be able to make it work for different shops. But any shop that you go through, I mean, they're going to have a minimum of at least 24, sometimes 12, but 24 pieces is going to be the minimum, but you're going to be paying out the ass for those 24. Like, it's going to be expensive, right? You're not going to get a cheap rate on 24. Screen printing is set up for bulk, right? Screen printing is set up for, this is the thing in screen printing, right? I'll break it down. So the setup is where most of the time takes, right? The setup is the most challenging part, the most time consuming part, because you have to create the films, or, they have these new machines that we're trying to get that prints directly on the back of screens. So you don't have to print films, but you still have to set up screens. You still have to burn them. You still have to wash them out. You still have to tape them up. You still have to do all these different things. So the cost comes in the setup. Running the shirts, it doesn't matter if you run, 1 shirt or, 50 shirts, 100 shirts, 200 shirts, whatever it is. It's just spinning around. So people are just loading it on and taking it off. So that isn't the time, it's the setup. And that's where you're going to pay. Try fresh prints. There you go. That's a lead for you right there. And I would just Google search, Google people. You can find a bunch of different shops. But again, you're going to have to find somebody that's very small, that is just starting, that is like either in a garage or they have a small shop that is going to take those orders. A lot of these big shops or these established shops just aren't going to do it because their overhead is too high to make a margin on it. That's the thing. It's like, you got employees, you got all this different costs, and so you have to charge for it, right? You have to find out where the money is. So just coming from on a manufacturing perspective, it's going to be hard to find that, but just start thinking about, like, you just have to be strategic. You got to understand this is the cards that you're dealt with, this industry and what that comes with. So you just got to be strategic about how you put together your designs and how you roll it out with your different collections, and how you set it up. So whether that's like, doing some print on demand stuff for the simple stuff that you can do. But again, like you said, if it doesn't meet your quality, and meet what you want to do, then you have to go the screen printing route, and you're going to have to get higher minimums to be able to do that. So I know it's like not really answering your question because there's no real answer for it, but I'm trying to give you some tactics of what you can do to think about how you can adjust your collections, especially when you're working on, if you're working on a limited budget. If you have a lot of money to dump into it, it doesn't matter because you can do other runs, but I'm assuming that, you're working on a budget to be able to do it. So you just got to be mindful of the collections and the stuff that you put together. And we're trying to get like other like small shops and small like different manufacturing processes of people that can see, that's the thing in the beginning, right? Print on demand is going to be, and that was another reason why when we first started, we got into manufacturing, because we thought, oh, we could just print it ourselves and we have low overhead and stuff like that. But a lot of you guys probably are thinking the same thing or want to do that, or maybe even try to do that. But it's very hard. It's very hard. We were very lucky to be able to structure it. Screen printing is a whole different business, so just be mindful of that, because that's probably going to be that. If that hasn't crossed your mind yet, it will cross your mind. And I'm telling you right now, like, focus on the brand and find a good partner that can do the printing, because you're not going to be able to do both. It's very, very hard. So I would just say, look at your collection, look at what you want to do, and be strategic about the designs and stuff that you roll out. So hope that answers your question. But what I was going to say is we're looking to partner hopefully with smaller shops, different people that are doing printing, to be able to offer you guys, especially in like different areas. So if we find a small print shop, in Vegas or somewhere that can do small runs that specialize in, small clothing brands of just startups, we'll definitely let you guys know. So that's definitely something that we're working on. So hopefully in the future, I'll have a resource for you. But I would say as of right now, just get on Google, get on Instagram, find, shops that are a little bit smaller, that are just kind of starting. They'll be more inclined to want to work with you and help you out versus the big guys. So yeah, no problem. All right. The next one is, do you know any alternatives to Creative Cloud, for example, Photoshop, font effects, and 3D images. So I use the Creative Cloud. So I use Photoshop. I use Illustrator. I love Photoshop and Illustrator. It's just what I've kind of started on. It's what I started on in high school. I had like this scholarship program to learn about coding and database and all this design, and they taught us Photoshop in 2005, and I literally use that information to this day. So I've just always been hooked on Photoshop. But there are resources like Canva, right? Canva is such a great resource for people that are just getting started. I'll post it in the chat. How many of you guys use Canva? I think it's Canva. It's called Canva, right? Canva. Canva.com. Yeah, there we go. Omar, you ahead of me. Let me see. Oh, shoot. Hold up. Bro, what just happened? I'm gonna have to reshare the screen. Hold on. Yeah, Canva is a good, let me see, share. I just messed this whole thing up. Hold on, y'all, bear with me. All right, so for Canva is a super, Omar posted it in the chat. Thank you for posting that. Is a super helpful tool for those of you guys that aren't necessarily like Martin. I know you're a designer, so you don't necessarily have to do it because you can design it yourself. But even like our designer uses it sometimes too, because it's like easier to be able to, instead of like if you're looking for a pattern or if you're looking for a quick layout that you want to do. So instead of designing from scratch, being able to use Canva to be able to structure it. But I would say that is definitely an alternative. There's several alternatives out there that you can get templates and stuff now. But Photoshop is my absolute favorite platform, Photoshop and Illustrator. But yeah, there's resources like Canva. There's resources like Placeit. I think it's placeit.net. So it's PLACE and then IT. So it's Placeit. They have like different templates and different design templates and stuff that you can use. But Photoshop is the place that I use. So yeah, Ray posted some. Oh, so you're looking for fonts too? Oh, so fonts you can use, fonts you can go on DaFont, so DAFONTS, DaFont, or there's no S, so it's just DaFont, DAFONT.com. That's another resource that you can use, DaFont.com. A lot of those are free. But yeah, so those are some of the resources and stuff like that. And then once we run across different resources, design stuff that can help, we'll definitely send it out your way and share it. All right, so moving on. How do I retrieve garments? Where do I start and begin at? Where can I print and graphic design logo on the garments? So again, I think we've kind of covered that as far as like, well, in the course. So we have the two courses. So what I recommend people doing that, for those of you that are just starting out, it seems like a lot of you guys have kind of already have experience, so this may be, not relevant to you guys, but for those of you that are just starting out, start with the Creating an Online Store course, because that will allow you to set up your online store. You can get designs made. You can put your products on there. You can try print on demand. No, right? But it's going to be able to get you in the process of being able to like start selling some products and getting your products out, where you don't have to do any shipping. You don't have to come up with any money up front. You can let you can do all the production and have them do it. So you basically don't have to pay for anything until somebody orders. So it's very helpful. So I would start that route because it's very inexpensive. A lot of times that I see what people do, if you guys are on here that have not started a brand yet or haven't done anything, don't go and spend hella money on getting product made. Just don't do it. It's not a smart decision. Like I see a lot of people coming in and trying to spend 5, 10,000, freaking 1,500. 1,500 isn't too bad. You know what I mean? Like if you have the budget and you can do it, you can get probably some good product for 1,500. But like more than that is like, you know, especially if it's your first run, you want to test it out. You want to do small runs. So that's why I recommend now with technology and using print on demand, where you're able to do small runs like that, where you're not going out and printing a bunch of stuff and you get stuck with inventory and it's product that you don't want. I see so many people doing that. And I just want you guys to know, don't do that. That is not the right move to do. That is not the smart decision to do of printing all the stuff. So start with the creating your online store, see what works, get some traction. If you get a design that's selling really good, then you can start going over to a contract screen printing manufacturer, specializes in clothing brands and stuff like that, that you can get printed. And now you can have inventory of it. So the thing is with print on demand, you know, your margins are very small. So, you know, you sell a shirt for $20, it's going to cost you $11, you know, $10, $11, depending on what kind of shirt it is and what kind of print and stuff. So your margins get kind of funny when it, and then you have shipping and tax and all that stuff. So you may only be making $3, $4, $6, right, off of a sale. But the cool thing is you don't put any money up front, right? It's all just profit. It's all like when a person comes in, they purchase the order, you get $6. The 13, 12, whatever it is, including shipping, goes to Printful or whatever print on demand service that you use. And then, you know, you can be able to grow that way. It's not a big money generator, but it's something that I would highly recommend that you use to get started, because the last thing you want to do is spend a bunch of money on some product that's just going to sit. It's not the move. So I would say do that, go through the creating your online store, set that up, and then go through your build your brand course to understand like how to establish more of that connection with your clients, how to, you know, get it out, how to vlog it, how to, you know, write a blog, how to find your audience, all of that stuff. But start with the creating an online store first and then being able to build out from there. Let's see. So will you teach us how to create other items besides t-shirts like polos or jackets? Yeah, definitely, 100%. I mean, the resources, I mean, we have a bunch of resources that we posted already. So if you guys go to the Build Your Brand course and then you go under garments or something like that, it's under the manufacturing section, that module. And if you go to garments, I put a link to all different vendors. So you can get something from Samar, you can get something from S&S, you can set up accounts with these wholesalers, with these companies. You could get something from Decky, which sells hats, Alfred Broder, S&S, Samar. Like those are some of the top vendors that to go through that sell wholesale. So you can get hoodies, jackets, pants, all that kind of stuff. We do internally where we do different products. So we do water bottles, pens, keychains, you know, lighters, different stuff for like the cannabis industry, different stuff for, you know, company swag, charging cases, you know, different custom water bottles and different things of that nature. So we're going to start rolling some of those stuff out too. So like if some of you guys want to get some products made, we'll get you guys a little discount and be able to do all that stuff. So I would say, yeah, go check that out under that section so you can see all the different garments. I added some. So if you took the Build Your Brand course previously, like maybe from when we had the Teachable platform, I added a couple other resources on there too. So you guys may want to check it out. So it's just Samar, it's S&S Activewear, and it's Alfred Broder, and then Decky. Those are the top, you know, the top dogs that have basically anything that you need. And then the last question that he said was also, what accounting software do you recommend? So that one is, all right, Cito, no problem. I will see you on our partner call tomorrow. I think you're going to really like it. We'll have your website test and all that stuff up. So thanks for coming on tonight, and kiss the baby and have a good night. So what I was going to say is for the accounting software, you want to look into, I mean, there's a ton of accounting softwares, right? There's a ton of accounting softwares that you can use, but accounting is so important. You know, I want you guys to know that in the Build Your Brand course, there was an accounting section, right? But accounting is so important. You guys want to start thinking about accounting is how you track your money, right? Especially in the beginning, right? You want to know where your money is going, how it's going, how to look at it. You want to know your P&L, which is your profit and loss, meaning that how many expenses did you have based on, or how much income did you have versus how much expense, and then what was left over and where your expenses are. So getting into good habits of that in the beginning is going to be very, very important. I did not do a good job of that in the beginning. I didn't understand accounting. I didn't know what it was. I didn't even know what accounting was or accounting software or anything like that. So I was just in my business. I was just building it. I didn't care what it happened, but it ended up biting me in the ass, and we ended up having to pay a lot of money in taxes and like all this stuff. So understand that like you need to get the accounting. If there's anything that I can like stress that's important on the business side of stuff, the creative side is cool. You get all the stuff up. Yeah, you try your, stuff or whatever. Accounting is so important. It's very, very important. Zoho.com, which is, again, this is on the Build Your Brand course as well. But Zoho.com is a really nice tool that we use. They have different tiered programs. You can do what I would recommend if you guys are just starting off, do Zoho Invoices, which comes with a basic accounting software. We could do expenses, you can send invoices, you can do a bunch of stuff, but it will allow you to track your money. The more advanced one is Zoho Books. We use Zoho Books for probably like 7 years, maybe 8 years. And then now we use QuickBooks. So QuickBooks is, of course, the industry standards, leaders, it has all the bells and whistles. Is it necessary for just starting off? No. It's more expensive. Some of the versions are. I think they actually have cheaper versions of QuickBooks. We have like one of the higher end versions of it, but they do have cheaper versions of QuickBooks. So I'll put that in there too. QuickBooks.com is another one that you want to check out for accounting software. So those are two. Zoho is very simple though. I would recommend Zoho if you're just like getting started, because it's very basic. If you don't know anything about accounting, it's just like expense, income, expense, income. And then you can do it for QuickBooks too, but you can hook up your bank account so it automatically pull in all your expenses from your card. So like I would set up a different, like a business account. Some of you guys probably already have it, but you could connect your business account to Zoho. So to pull all your transactions. So then at the end of the week, at the end of the month, whatever, you can go in and categorize all the expenses. So basically what happens is you have all these expenses that fall into different categories, right? Marketing, meals and entertainment, education, travel, equipment. You have all these different things, software, all this stuff, and they go into different classifications. So you have different classifications based on your taxes. So now when your CPA gets everything, they look at all your classifications of where you put everything, and then they file it depending on where all your money went, right? And where they fell in the classifications. And I'm not a CPA, I'm not an accountant. We have a team that deals with that. So make sure that you talk to a CPA, you talk to an accountant. This is just my thing of what we do. I don't want to give you guys, advice on how to structure your financial stuff because I'm not qualified for that, but I'm just telling you the basics of the concept. So now you can go and you can understand what to ask an accountant or a CPA, but they'll put them in different classifications. And then when they, like I said, they file your taxes, that's how they know, what they track, your mileage. If you're driving to go see a client, you're driving to a photo shoot, I think it's like 55 cents a mile that you can write off. So like if you go, 1 mile to go travel, you can write 55 cents off for that, meaning that when you have your money in the bank at the end of the year, you can start writing all this stuff off as a tax write-off. So you don't have to pay taxes on some of this stuff. So accounting is very, 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 very important. Like very important. If there's anything you get from this presentation, like I said, accounting, make sure that you guys get it situated, and do it right in the beginning, because it's going to be very easy to just kind of flow. And it's hard. I understand a lot of you guys are creatives and don't I don't want to focus on that, but trust me, it will bite you in the ass. Right. And it was something that I didn't focus on when we first started. And it was something that I didn't take serious, and I had to implement, and I knew that I was busy enough and I got to a place financially where we can afford to bring on an accounting team to be able to do that. To kind of help with that, but we were able to be in a financial situation to be able to do that. But in the beginning, I just wish I would have taken it more serious, because it would have been an easy transition to go from like me doing like whatever, not keeping it organized, to like working with our accounting team. And that transition of when we brought them on a couple of years ago was like, it was a mess, and it was a headache to get everything situated. And so, now it's a really good flow, but if we would have organized it from back then, it just would have been a smoother process, and it would have been less things that I would have had to do. So that's a long-winded answer to say, focus on your accounting, man. It's important. I don't care how small you think you are, just get into the habit of like putting your expenses. I don't care if it's $10. Like that's easy. Then it's just a habit. Just get into the habit of like, okay, I'm going to just make sure all of this stuff is classified, because I want to make sure that you guys are like set up properly. And I want to make sure that I'm going to be very transparent with you guys. So I said in the beginning, the taxes, I didn't know nothing about what I was doing and just created a headache. And it's going to be very important. So when you file your tax returns of going to get a lease, you go to get a lease for a space, you have to have your tax returns. You know what I mean? When you go to some of the places, some places you don't need it, but most of them are going to ask for your tax returns and stuff like financials and all that stuff. But then you have to think about all this stuff. It's just gonna save you so much down the road and thinking long term when you build it out. So try those two platforms. Out of one of those two platforms, one of them will work for you. Should our private label branding be a huge concern during the initial startup? Not necessarily. It just all depends on your budget, realistically. Like it all depends on your budget and your brand and what you're trying to do. That extra $3, $4, depending on what you're doing, tags, custom printed labels. Does it make the presentation nice? Yeah, of course it does. Does it look better? Yeah, of course it does. Is there always room for improvement to be able to grow? Yes. Right. So I think it's just a matter of like figuring out what it is that you want to do in the beginning. Right. It's how do you want to position your brand? How do you want to position your stuff and what kind of budget? Really, it comes down to your budget. Right. Like, yeah, if you have a budget, for sure. Like, private label and putting your own neck tags. I would say the least thing that you should do. I don't think you should focus on. I'm a firm believer in this. I don't think you should focus on woven labels and hang tags and all that stuff in the beginning, because that's just an extra cost that has minimums and all this other stuff. And it adds up, right? It gets expensive. The least thing I would just say in branding, just get tearaway tags on your t-shirts, on your hoodies and stuff like that, and print your logo on the hoodies and t-shirts, right? Doing that and then folding bag, fold poly bag will probably set you back. Maybe $2.15 for the woven labels, and then like depending on the runs that you're doing. So it's probably going to set you back like $3, right? It'll be $3 added per shirt to have that extra kind of packaging and stuff like that in that presentation. But I think it's definitely something that on some circumstances could be worth it. Poly bag is very important because it just organizes everything and it makes sure that, you don't give a shirt and it smells like the back seat of your car, and it's all contained, and it makes sure that it smells good. And then we go from there. Do you make your own poly bags? No. So I will go to Uline. So we get our poly bags from Uline. And then, you can do your own poly bags as far as like printing and stuff like that. Yeah. But we just do clear poly bags of just like, basic stuff from Uline. And then that will just have, just a clear bag. You can get 1,000 of them for, I think it's a case of 1,000 for, I want to say $50, $75, something like that. But you could do that. As you start doing the private label and personal, like the branding, the poly bags, like printing on your poly bags is an option. Printing on your mailers. There's a place that does packlane.com. There's a place called packlane.com. That's actually where we got the yellow boxes made. So the yellow Teeshirt Business boxes, we got those made at Packlane. So the really cool thing about those is you can do small minimums of boxes, and you can completely custom design it and do everything, like add crazy designs or whatever it is that you want to do. Hold on, it's getting hot, man. Add custom designs and whatever it is that you want to do. And it's low minimum. So when it comes to branding, that's a really good way to do like influencer stuff. So like if you're doing some stuff where you want to give out your packages and you want your presentation to be good, if you're going and doing stuff like that of like working with influencers and different things, You want to make sure that your branding is on point. You can't just give them a shirt with a Gildan tag in it. That just looks tacky and just weak. So if you're doing stuff like that, where you're giving it to people, you're seeding. So it's called seeding when you're like planting seeds that are going to grow for influencers and stuff like that. You want to make sure the whole presentation is on point. So if you go to Pack Lane and you go and get some custom boxes made with your whole branding on it, and then you add an entire story around it, which we're going to go over that. We're going to show, we're actually getting ready to do some stuff for our agency. So, I mean, this is going to be real high quality packaging and how we put it all together and the whole process. But we're going to show you guys the process of how we build it out and then give it to clients. And this is how we prospect and get new clients to do their, their branding and get them on as a client under our agency. So, and then we're going to do it for the brand too, of like how we do different influencers for doing everything different. So that's probably going to be part of the thing in the Build Your Brand part 2, where we do the different packaging and we show, okay, packaging, presentation is everything when it happens to, when you give it to different people, right? Like just thinking about like, when you get a new iPhone or you get a computer or you get Beats by Dre or you get something, like the packaging does make a big difference, right? It does make it creates an experience, right? It creates an experience to open it up. So again, it depends on what your initiatives are of how you want to set this up and how you want to roll it. I know this question was more so of just the private labeling of the shirts, but you can get creative on how you set everything up. Well, we did, damn, I wish I had a picture of it. I got to find the picture. So what we did is in, I don't know, 2013, I think 2013, we did like a campaign and we put together this gold package, right? And we didn't have money for custom boxes and all. Pack Lane wasn't around. We didn't have money for custom boxes. So what we ended up doing was we bought some boxes from Uline and then we got some stickers made, some gold foil stickers. So we put the stickers on top of the box and then we printed in-house, right? So we did our printing in-house and then we printed a screen printed in the box, just like a small little, image of the box of like the image, the design of what we did. But it looked like a custom box, right? It looked like we got it made somewhere when all in reality, all we did was get a cheap, Uline box and we printed on it and then put, that sticker on it. So, just think about packaging. Think about as you start building it out, different creative ways of what you can do to, cut costs to do small runs of the stuff, but then make it look professional. Make sure that it always looks like, you got it made somewhere. That's very important. The presentation is big. So try doing the relabels in the beginning for the tags if you can afford it. Okay, I think we got like 2 more questions. What is the best advice for a young entrepreneur getting his brand off the ground? Again, I mean, I think we've covered a lot of this stuff. I think the person that actually asked this question is 16 and in high school. So I just love the young hustle and the young spirit of everybody. I think that if you are a young entrepreneur that is just getting started and you are at that age group of 14 to 19, you're at a really, 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 really good age, because if you ask somebody something, they're probably going to say yes, especially if you show initiative to it. So it just allows you to get indoors. It allows, for people to help you. It allows for, you to build relationships with people and stuff like that. So a lot of times people think being young is not as good, that you're coming in with a handicap, but it's actually, it actually could be for your benefit. And then if you're older, it could be for your benefit too, because now you have experience, you have relationships, you've been around. So I think that there's pros and cons to different phases of wherever you are in the process. But I think as a young entrepreneur specifically, because we were 17 when we started, right? I was 17 years old when we started. I started in high school. And I think the best advice that I can give you is just put in the work. I guess actually this is now thinking about it, like going on this track, the best advice that I can give you, it's not necessarily tactical stuff of like, hey, run Facebook ads and all that stuff. It is, be careful where you spend your time and be mindful of where you spend your time. And this applies to everybody, right? But specifically being young, right? So when you're young, you don't have a lot of money, but you have a lot of time. And as you get older, you have less time, you have money, you start getting responsibilities, you start getting family, you start doing all this stuff, right? So in the mindset of being a young entrepreneur, you want to think about all your friends are going to be trying to go out and party, and they're going to be going out and, hanging out and doing all this stuff, having fun, going to college, doing all these different things. Right. And I remember when I was coming up, that pressure was there. That pressure was there to go out. Even my business partners were just like, oh, it's funny. So they used to call me John McCain, right? It was this was in 2008. So he was like running against Obama and all this stuff. So they used to call me John McCain, meaning like I was a square, right? Or whatever. I don't know why they use that term, but I would stay home and I would study business words, and they would go out to the club. And they were like, yo, bro, like, let's go. I'm like, nah, like, I need to figure this stuff out. Like, I'm doing my research. And I remember they used to like talk mess about me. They used to like all laugh at me and try to, joke around and all this stuff. And I didn't care. Like, I'm just like, I'm watching a couple of years. You're going to see, what it is. And I just had that mindset of just like, like I have goals that I want to do something. And I know that life is it's very short. For those of you that know, my story about my grandfather passing away, and you understand, the background of that. For those of you that don't, my grandpa was, my hero. And long story short, he ended up passing away, having a heart attack in my arms. I was like 20, I think I was 21 actually. And it just showed me that life is like short, man. Life is short. Life is here, then it's gone. And I made a decision from that day. It was really before then I was on the track, but like really that day I made a decision that I don't want to waste time. Like there's a reason why we're all here on this planet. There's a reason why we're here. And, if you want to leave something great on earth, if you want to leave something great while you're here, if you want to leave something great for your family, like we don't have time to waste. And so, as a young entrepreneur coming up, as, a seasoned person as well, just be mindful of where you spend your time, test things out, see what you like. This is one thing. Oh my God. One thing that I did that people looked at me like I was crazy is that I tested stuff out. I would try things. I would try video recording. I would try editing. I would try screen printing. I would try public speaking. I would try the brand. I would trying to get clients. Like I did all of this stuff, right? And I did all of this stuff. And people were like, man, you need to focus. But I'm like 17, 18, 19, 20, like all in my 20s, I was just testing it out. And it looked like I was everywhere. It looks like I was like going all over the place, but I didn't care what people were saying. I didn't care what people thought because I was figuring out what I was good at. I was learning. I was testing it out. I was learning every single day. A lot of times people, there's this narrative and there's this thing of like, schooling is 4 years. And that's why I wanted to create this mentorship program. Schooling is not for 4 years. Like you can't learn everything you need to know in 4 years, 8 years, whatever it is at college, after whatever. It should be an ongoing process. I'm constantly learning every day, whether that's on YouTube, whether that's reading, whether it's actual in practice in business, doing this stuff. So I would just say like, don't be afraid to test stuff out. Don't be afraid to see what you're good at. Don't be afraid to see like what happens and see like, test it out, man. Do 16, you're at the perfect age. You need to try everything that you can. I will go intern for people. Don't worry about making money. For the next 10 years, you can't worry about making money. Like you can't worry about like profit. You have to worry about reinvesting. You can't worry about like trying to live large and to do all this stuff. Like if you guys know my story, you understand, like I was sleeping on my mom's couch. I was reinvesting in my business. I was taking all the money and putting it back into my business because I understood that it needed that requirement. I didn't need the money. I didn't need anything. So I would just say like really focus on where your money is being spent, where your time is being spent, who you're around. All that stuff plays a part, man. All that stuff wears on your energy, like who you surround yourself with, so just make sure that you focus on you and being the best version of yourself and trying to figure out what you're good at, right? Testing stuff out, testing the brand, testing different things of what it is that you like. That is the absolute best advice and the best thing that I think I did coming up in making this decision and getting to where I am today is I didn't let it hold me. I didn't let people's opinions hold me back from doing what I knew was right for me. A lot of times people will not do things because of what other people say or whatever people do. So you don't want to do things because you're like, oh, people are going to look at me. They think I'm stupid or I'm going to fail at this or whatever. But I'm telling you, that's some bullshit. Like, it's like the only people that are judging you are the people on the sidelines that are not in the game. Like, for the people that are in the game that are doing something, they're not sitting around judging you. They're in the game worried about their own shit. You know what I mean? So just think about that. Think about that as you start going forward to stuff, like as you start moving forward, thinking about like, it doesn't matter what these people think and what they say. You know, it's a matter about what you feel internally, like what's going to guide you, you know, what is pulling you. So no matter what age you're at, you know, I think this is just something that like, I just want you guys to understand that, like, you know, some people don't understand it. You know, the closest, like a lot of close people that were close to me didn't understand it. A lot of people. But it, you know, it's not for them to understand. This is your vision. This is your life. This is you doing what you're doing. And you need to do what you feel is right because you get one life, you get one shot. And it's like, why not make it count? Why not make it count? Do what you love to do, you know, and just be in position to be able to where you can do it. Intern for people, intern and work for free. Like, work for free, man. The power of working for free is incredible. Working for free to get knowledge or to get access is absolutely incredible. It's an invaluable thing that you can do because, you know, money comes and goes, right? People can take money from you. They can take your possessions. They can take all the stuff, but they can't take what you learn. That's something that you can't, nobody can take what you learned, you know? And so learning experience, that is way more valuable than money, way more valuable than money. So that would be my advice. Test things out, try it, be careful who you surround yourself with. Don't get caught up in the, oh, you're young, you need to go have fun. Man, so many people are like, you need to have fun. I'm like, you don't understand. I get to have fun every single day in what I do. People are like, oh, you work too much. Like, I like legitimately love what I do. Like, it's kind of uncomfortable the amount of how much I love what I do, right? It's like, it's such a big part. Like, I don't feel right if I'm not doing my thing, right? And doing, expressing myself in a creative way or building businesses, whatever it is. Like, I don't feel right if I'm not doing it. So that's me. That's my truth. That's not for everybody, but you need to figure out what's your thing. And I understand that it's maybe it's hard. Maybe you don't know what that is yet. You know, maybe you're still on that journey and that path, but don't feel weird if you haven't figured it out. Keep working at it. No matter what age you're at, just keep going. Just life, man, life is too short. Jeremy, yeah, man, it's it's crazy. I'm sorry to hear that about your aunt. Yeah, my grandpa was like my dad. You know, my grandpa was, you know, played a big role. You know, he was one of my heroes. You know, and it's crazy because on the 21st of this month, it's coming up on his anniversary, and it's gonna be, or that he passed away, and it's gonna be 12 years. You know, he didn't get to really see any of this manifest. You know, he always believed in me. He always, you know, said I could do anything that I want. Um, you know, he always helped, man, and it's just kind of crazy for him not being here, to kind of see this manifest and stuff like that. But, you know, using that energy, you know, at first I used the energy where I was just so depressed and I didn't want to do anything. You know, I didn't want to, you know, I lost my inspiration, and right when it happened, I was just like in this funk. But then I realized, I'm like, man, like, I know it's the cliche thing, but like, would he really want me to do this, or would he really want me to go out and like do what I needed to do? And so I just channeled that energy, and I channeled the energy into, dang, are you serious? That's crazy. That's hella close. Dang, that's crazy. 2 days apart. Yeah, man, it's tough, man. Every time, like, it's gotten better because now it's been like 12 years, but every time around this time, it always gets like, you know, it's hard, you know, because that was my guy. You know, that was the guy I went to. That was the guy I spoke to. That was the guy, you know, that was the guy. But I know I'm getting off on the tangent of what we're talking about. But like I said all this to say, channel that energy. You know, things are gonna to happen. And, a lot of you guys are going to go through that. Like some of you guys are going to, it's life, right? It's, some people, everybody, you're not going to get out of life alive. That's a quote or a saying I really like. So, everybody on this webinar, chat, whatever you want to call this thing right now, all 9 of you guys, like everybody's going to go through it. And it's something that is challenging, and just knowing that, don't let that knock you off your game. Use that and channel that energy into something constructive. That's the best thing I could say. Like, I could have easily went down the road of like drinking and doing all this stuff, but I channeled it into like moving forward and channeling it into like putting it into something positive. So just channel that and kind of go from there. So the last one is, how do I get my products in stores? There's a couple ways. I think if it's like a local store, it's as easy as just kind of going in and starting a conversation and saying to put your stuff on consignment. Consignment is a good way to get started, especially if nobody knows who you are. Consignment is basically, you go to a store, you say, hey, I want to put my brand in your store. Normally stores buy your shirts wholesale or products wholesale. So say they buy your shirts for $12, they mark it up, they sell it for $26, but they'll buy the shirts from you and then they sell them. But a lot of stores won't take that risk. And a lot of stores are struggling right now because of online and social and the internet. And I'm going to get into that in a minute. But it's consignment is like, hey, here's my product. I'll give you my product. Whatever sells, you give me the money, we split the profits. It's a zero risk for the store, and you get to test it out. So going to stores and asking if you get your brand on consignment, that's only going to work for smaller stores. It's not going to work for Zoomies or, some of these bigger stores. But for these small boutique stores, you can go in there and ask them on consignment. Some of them are going to say no because they're either at capacity or your brand isn't where it needs to be yet. But some of them will say, yeah, some may say yes. But the number one thing that I would suggest that you do is focus on building your online presence, right? Your social media. Like, all stores do is go to that to look at your brand. Like, that is your resume, that is your catalog, that is your stamp of approval, whatever you want to call it. So if you focus on building your following and you start doing all this stuff, stores are going to come to you naturally, because they're going to want their products or your products in their store. So there's different ways that you can go about it, right? One way is, again, you go to the stores, ask them for consignment. That's cool. That if it's like, if I would highly recommend that if you're like, if you have like a boutique or a store that's close to you in your city or something like that, that's a really good way to start, because you can bring that into the stores, and then you can be able to like do events. So now that allows you to do, like, say you go to a store and say, hey, I want to do like a little pop-up shop where we bring people in and we do like a cool little event where we have like a speaker come in or a local artist come in and rap, or a local artist that paints, like come in and paint. So now you can create that, like start creating that activation to get people out from the digital world into the physical world, right? That's the whole thing with our agency. Like, our concept for the agency is like, how do you connect and merge the two worlds from online to the physical world? So if you can take the people from your online, bring them to your physical store, that physical store, wherever it is, and you set up a pop-up, that's a really, really great way to get started. And honestly, maybe it's not a clothing store. Maybe it's not a clothing store. Depending on what your niche is, maybe it's a different type of store that you can sell your product in, and you could do a pop-up that's more of an experiential kind of event. So like one of our clients, his name is George. He sells these calls, which are like scarves. And so they're accessories. So he goes to motorcycle shops and showrooms to be able to sell his stuff there, because he knows a lot of people that ride motorcycles wear those. And he can do pop-ups and these things. So think about different things. It doesn't have to necessarily be a clothing store, but what aligns with, again, I'm going to keep going back to that. What aligns to that mission, that idea? Where do those people that have that same idea that matches your brand, where do they hang out? Maybe if it's a Christian clothing company, maybe you go to your church and you say, hey, let's set up a pop-up shop with these shirts. And then part of the proceeds will go back to the donation of the church. And now you can set it up. Now you have a whole experience with that. If they have room, you set up like a whole little activation and a cool little experience. So that is the new way of like getting into stores, I think. Getting into physical spaces is actually like taking an idea and bringing it into a physical space, but in a non-traditional way, right? In a non-traditional way where you're not like focused on necessarily clothing stores per se, which you can do, but thinking about other ways that you can partner, finding out people that have those same ideas that your brand represents. Where do they hang out? How do you partner with the organization? Because if you come to an organization and say, hey, I have this brand, I think it'll be really cool for what, kind of what you're doing. It adds, a whole different, product offering that you can do. It's going to bring in a whole new demographic, get people excited. Plus I'll give you, we'll do a revenue split. It's a really, really good way to build that relationship with people offline. So I think that's really good. Yeah, I mean, I'm having, I literally have no one supporting me, but a lot of discouraging because I'm a single mother of two under 10. No one really believed in my vision, and it's frustrating having no support because I'm alone in this. I mean, I understand, and honestly, like, it's going to be challenging. Like, I'm not going to sit up here and sugarcoat it. Like, no, you think positive, and it's going to be, this, and this. I just recently had a daughter, and she's 11 weeks, and having a kid is challenging, and she's only 11 weeks. So I could understand, like, it's a whole different process, and it takes on a whole different kind of meaning of what you have. But, having that energy and just like even creating this group, that's why I wanted to create something like this, where like Omar, like responding there, I want to build a community here, right? It's not just like, I don't want it to just be me talking to you guys. I want you guys to like work with each other. I want this to create like some sort of support system. Like, I understand, like, I get it. Like, there's a lot of people that don't support you. There's a lot of people that like don't understand, right? And so like, how do we bring a community together where people do understand? And I understand this is an online thing, and it's kind of hard, sometimes it's hard to connect, but you never know who you're going to meet in this program. You never know who's like, we just want to bring positive energy into this group. So like, even if you don't get it in where you are, being able to tap into something like this to be able to kind of just get that motivation and get that inspiration again, to be able to do it. But I think it's just a matter of like, it's going to be challenging. It's going to be challenging. It's going to be harder. It's not going to be impossible, right? It's not going to be impossible. You got to look at like, other people that have been in similar situations, right? Looking at other single moms that have started businesses. I don't know, I haven't Googled it before, but I'm sure that if you like YouTube some stuff, there'll be stories out there. And there's a lot of fake stuff on the internet about trying to sell you stuff and all this stuff. But I would just do some research and find single mom entrepreneurs, right? Or just different things of just trying to fill your head with as much positive stuff and reinforcing like, okay, I could do this. I could do this. I could do this. I could do this. Cause I'm telling you, like, that whole, law of attraction thinking, I don't believe in it. I don't believe in the sense of like, I don't believe in the sense of like, the you just thinking and it's going to naturally just come to you. It's a matter of like thinking positive, but then also being able to put in the work. So just make sure that you put in the work to be able to set all that stuff up, but then also surrounding yourself around that positivity. So Martin, I know that you're in the partnership program. So we'll have I think I sent you an invite for tomorrow. But we're gonna go over that of like, for you being a graphic designer, I think for your part of it, right, is picking up clients, right? I think it's being able to create other services that you can go to different businesses where you can provide design services for them. And then you can also do stuff where you can provide their printing and their production and stuff like that. And we're giving you the infrastructure to be able to do that. So that creates a whole nother product offering and stuff like that. So we'll go over it in more depth tomorrow on the partner call. If you didn't get the invite to that, just send me an email and I'll get you the link. But we're doing that at 6 p.m. tomorrow for all the partners. What about license and trademark your brand? Is it important to focus on that right away? Where to do so? LegalZoom.com is a great way to start. It's actually LegalZoom.com. That's a great resource to have. Like LegalZoom, it you could do your own and all that stuff, but they make the process very easy, very simple to do a trademark, to trademark your brand. I think if you're doing a word mark trademark of just like a word, not like a logo, I think it's like $475, including filing fees and everything like that. And then once it's approved, I think you have your trademark. I think your trademark is live for up to 10 years. So I would start on that. That would be the thing. If you, so this is the thing, if you're just starting off, the brand may change, the logo may change, the name may change. So in the beginning, unless you're like 100% positive with it and you got the extra like $500 to spend on the trademark, I don't know if it's so important to be able to do that. But again, I'm not an attorney. I'm not giving you legal advice because I don't want something to happen and you come back to me, oh, you told me this, and this. So if you have the money and you could trademark it, I would say you can do it. But if it's something that you're still playing around with the name that you don't know for sure if you're going to use, I would get real concrete on the name first and then trademark it. It's $500. It'll probably take like 2 to 3 months to get it trademarked, but they'll send you this cool little, depending on what pack you get in the LegalZoom, they'll send you this cool little packet with, you know, your name trademarked. I have Doing Everything Different trademarked. They send you the name, they send you a little stamp of approval and all that stuff. So it's pretty cool. But I would do LegalZoom.com. LegalZoom.com definitely is a great resource to have to be able to set it up and to be able to use it from there. All right, so I have to log off. I didn't realize it was 7:40. I got to go home and see my daughter. So I'm super excited for you guys that have been here. I hope this was helpful. I know we kind of got into mindset, we got into tactical stuff. I want to have it as a mix between the tactical stuff of what to do and then also a mindset around how to develop it, because it starts in here, right? If you have the internal processes good and the software good, all the other stuff is going to run. So it's just the tactical stuff of like different advice that I've learned and sharing tips and tactics and stuff like that. So if you have another question, go ahead and let me see. I would try Secretary of State first for small business, LLCs, less expensive. Yeah, if you're doing LLCs and stuff, I was more so talking about the trademark. But yeah, you could do either like a sole proprietorship. You can do, there's a lot of different ways that you can go about doing certain things. And then going to LegalZoom, it'll break down all the different steps of whatever it is that you need to do. All right, last question. With Printful, is there a way to have the tags removed? Yeah, you can have the tags removed on certain garments. Certain garments have rip away tags. I don't know if this one has. So this is the brand right here that has a woven tag on the hoodies. Some of them have rip away where you can just like literally just tear it off and then they can print the logos on there. So it will say on Printful of which ones that you can do custom tags and relabeling. But yeah, it is possible to do your own branded labels and stuff like that in Printful. So yeah, if there's any other questions in the community network, if you guys haven't set up your profile yet, I know a lot of you guys have, but if you guys haven't set up your profile yet, please do so. I think it's going to be important for all of us to be able to for everybody to network with each other, know where, put the location of where you are, right? There may be some people in your area that you guys can network with and build, and then do a short bio, right? And then upload a picture. Let's make this a community. Let's like communicate with each other. Let's hold each other accountable. Let's like partner with each other. Let's really build out this stuff. Again, like I said, I don't want this to just be learning from me to you. I think that we can all learn from each other. There's so much stuff that I can learn from you guys. Everybody can learn something. So I think just like, let's keep that in mind. Let's keep this going. We're going to do another one of these next week. So in the community network on your dashboard, when you go to the community network, there's a little side panel on the right. If you want to submit questions, you can click there to be able to submit whatever questions, and then we'll answer them on these lives. So as stuff starts coming up. But next week, you can expect to start seeing those videos that I'm going to start posting from the United campaign. I'm going to start posting some other content. We got the camera and the light set up here. So we're doing a bunch of recording and a bunch of content. So we have a lot of stuff coming that we'll be able to, I tried but couldn't find where somehow. I'm going to try to do these lives every week. So I'm going to try to do, they may not be this long. When you guys set up the stuff or got into the program, it was going to be bi-weekly. So it was going to be either every other week or once a month. But I'm going to do these. I'm going to do these as often as I can. So next week we're going to do another one, and then we're just going to try to do one every week. Just trying to keep the stuff in. And again, like I said, these are going to evolve and change, right? The next time, like we're going to have somebody like apply to like how to get on the live, and then now to be, or it could just be multiple people where we can buzz you in, and then now we can talk through your specific needs of the business, and we can go back and forth of like, and put together a strategic plan. Cause I think that will help with a lot of people. So that's kind of the evolution of how this program is going to be. For right now, yeah, I have to look at my schedule. I have like a crazy schedule coming up. But I will send an email out to make sure that I give you guys lots of notice, and I'll post it in the community network. But yeah, definitely we'll stick to this. It'll probably be around this time, 6:00, because that gives me time for the whole team to leave and getting everything situated. But yeah, so we're going to do it. Again, I hope this was helpful. I hope you guys go out and crush it this weekend. I'm going to start recording some of the content to post for the social media bootcamp, and then we're going to go from there. So any other questions, submit it on the form, and I'll make sure that all of the stuff get answered and go from there. Do you recommend us trying Alibaba to purchase garments for online clothing store? Yeah. A lot of people do it. A lot of people do use Alibaba. I would say getting samples of the stuff, getting samples of the product, seeing what it is. A lot of times you got to be careful of going with different places in China, because they'll send you like, a sample that looks great, but then in the full production, they send you some stuff that don't look nothing like what they gave you in the sample. And then you just kind of stuck with it. So just be very careful and mindful with how you set all of that stuff up. And how you get that going. So I will, let me know what you guys think, and post any questions in that comment section on the community thread, and then we will go from there. I hope you guys have a good night, have a good weekend, and I will talk to you guys soon. Let me see. All right, peace.